Premier Sports One Center. Live in anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports One Center. Live in anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports One Center. Live in anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe.
Premier Sport Fan Center. My name is Adeyemi Shegun and I'll be your host tonight. I won't be doing this alone, and I have with me in the studio Yemite. Good evening, Yemite.
Good evening, the F-Antary himself.
Talk Sport is a 30-minute program whereby we discuss all that happened in the world of sport for the past 1 week, and also preview what is going to happen in the coming week in the world of sports. Starting straight, let's start with the Super Eagles, where the big one is happening in the local stage. The Super Eagles coach Joseph Paseiro releases 23-man list for upcoming Super Eagles World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. The first match against Lesotho will be played at the Goswe Akpabio Stadium on Thursday. That is next week Thursday. That is when the Super Eagles will be playing against Lesotho. 23-man list, and looking at the goalkeepers, I think that is where the talking issue has actually been. Yeah. Francis Uzor is back again.
It's just like Nemesis that is catching up back to back. But I think I'm a fan of second chances. No, not even second, because Uzor now maybe 15th chances or maybe 200. But we just hope that at least for once he can cover himself in glory. But I'll be tilting towards the coach starting Madoka instead of Uzor, or maybe Olorunleke Ojo. So,
looking at Uzor back in the Super Eagles, after that bad performance, after that howler in the last time out with the Super Eagles, we saw him during the friendly match against Saudi Arabia. Yeah. It was actually a bad one. It was a poor performance from him. And during the Nations Cup qualifier, it was another poor performance from Uzor.
Yeah.
Are you backing him to start, or is it looking like he is our best goalkeeper right now?
Right now, I think Nigeria can do better than that, because I saw Sporting Lagos goalkeeper, Christian. His performance was huge at the Super 8 finals.
He has been nice, and he has been giving out. He has been dishing out some good performances in the NPFL season.
Yeah, and he has some clean sheet under his gloves. So I think we should start appreciating what we have at home. Let's give them playing time. And
okay, talking about NPFL, we have just one NPFL player in the Super Eagles list, and that is Eyimba's goalkeeper, Olorunleke Ojo. What are chances of Olorunleke Ojo starting in that
really
game?
Slim, really slim. When it comes to the Nigerian national team, I don't know why it's almost less than 5% your chance of getting a shirt in qualifiers like this. Even friendly matches is not up to 20-10%. Talk less of qualifier, and they really need to check that. We have to appreciate our own.
Okay, talking about we have to appreciate our own. The goalkeepers, 3 goalkeepers are being called for this 2-legged fixtures. And we have Francis Uzor, who keeps for Omonia FC in Cyprus. Olorunleke Ojo, who keeps for Eyimba FC here in Nigeria. And Maduka Okoye, who keeps for Idenise in Italy. Let's go straight to defenders. We have Olaino, who plays for Nottingham Forest, Chidozie Awazim, who plays for Boa Vista in Portugal, Bright Osayi Samuel, who plays for Fenerbahce, Bruno Oyemiachi, who plays for Boa Vista also, Kenneth Omeru, who plays for Kasipasa, Oluwashemilogo Ajayi, that's Semi Ajayi, who plays for West Brom, Calvin Bassey of Fulham, and Jamilu Collins is also back and plays for Cardiff. These are the defenders.
Yeah, I think the pairing of Bassi and Shemi Ajayi might do something solid for the Super Eagles, at least based on the opponent. And whenever it's time to face South Africa, we'll see what they come up with.
We have a big battle on the right side of the fence right now. Ola Aino and Bright Osai Samuel, who plays for Fenerbahce. We saw Bright Osai during the last games for the Super Eagles. He gave out a good performance of himself, and he looks like he might just be the first choice right back for the Super Eagles now.
Yeah, it looks likely, and I think I would tilt towards the guys, because his link-up play, the way he attacks the ball, the way he defends, the way he covers his line, and the way he joins the attack, and he's really impressive. One of the few players that was impressive, even amongst the unfavorable performance they are during the last international break.
Okay, straight to midfield, where we have just 4 midfielders being called for this fixture. Rafael Oyedika, who plays for Club Brugge in Belgium. We have Joe Aribo of Southampton, Frank Oyenka of Brentford, and Alex Iwobi of Fulham. There's no Ndidi due to injury.
Yeah, no, Ndidi will be greatly missed. And I think these guys can at least hold their own and win it. It's not as if we are playing Egypt or Senegal.
But looking at the midfield, don't you think it lacks creativity?
Yeah, we've been lacking creativity for some time in the Super Eagles, for years. Because all this midfielder, I don't see any creativity. I think the last creative midfielder we had was J.J. Okocha. And since J.J. Okocha, I've not seen him. Not even Mikel Obi was a creative midfielder. Because when you have a midfielder that cannot float a pass that you, the viewers, can't see, like you can't picture the passes, when you just see it and say, wow, where's this coming from? That's creativity. Because the field is always in your head. Imaginary positioning, passing the ball. And one thing about being creative is you need a striker that understands your movement. When you turn right, you turn left, the striker knows what you want to do. You already mix his own.
Again, talking about the strikers, we have Kelechi Iheanacho, who plays for Leicester City in England, Sadiq Omar, who plays for Real Sociedad, Moses Simon, who plays for FC Nantes in France, Ademola Lookman, who plays for Atlanta, Nathan Tella will be making his debut for the Super Eagles, who plays for Bayern Leverkusen in Germany. We also have Taiwo Awoni, who plays for Nottingham Forest, Terry Murphy of OGC Nice, and Victor Boniface, who plays for Bayern Leverkusen. Also, there's no Osimhen, who's still out injured. Who will likely be your favorite pairing up front?
Definitely Boniface. Definitely Victor Boniface, because the one thing I love about him is that even Osimhen doesn't have is his calmness when he's with the ball. He can Boniface can easily switch to the wing and calmly play like a winger. He can switch to the number 8 and because he's calm. And when you see a player that is calm, they tend to interpret the game in a unique way. That's why you see him, if he's not scoring for Bayer Leverkusen, he's assisting. Because if you are not calm behind the ball, you will hardly see moves, you will hardly see passes. So that's very...
Okay, talking about Victor Boniface, he has just won the Bundesliga Rookie of the Month award for the 3rd consecutive time.
Yeah.
And it shows, how good he is doing with Bayer Leverkusen.
Really
and it's one of the reasons why Bayer Leverkusen are currently topping the Bundesliga
in fact,
table.
He's with Wiltz and Boniface are the two culprits responsible for putting Bayern Leverkusen over Bayern Munich, which some people would not be predicting at this stage of the season. I think they've played 9 or 10 matches.
9 matches.
Yes.
And only lost points against Bayern Munich, which happened as a draw.
Yeah, 2-2. And I think it was away at Bayern Munich. So that's Xabi Alonso is doing wonders with those guys, and you just have to give it to Boniface.
I'm talking about Boniface right now. Are you of the opinion that he should stick with Bayern Leverkusen until next season, or probably at the end of the season should he be on the move?
No, it depends on where they finish this season. That decision, I don't think it's best for him to make it now. After the season, then you have a rethink. You look at the season, you sample opinions, you look at the realistic point of view around everything, and you take your decision from there, because it will not be the best decision to take now. It will distract the season. his mind will be divided. So he needs to be focused. Focus on playing your game, score goals, do assists, general team play, join them. And at the end of the season, let's see if Bayern Leverkusen can win the league. Why will you want to leave?
Okay, all eyes will be on Victor Boniface when the Super Eagles takes on the Crocodiles of Lesotho at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium on Thursday. And trust us, our Premier Sports Fan Center will be there to give you that much live from the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. Now, straight away from the local league, let's go straight to Europe, where we had the Champions League match the 4 played during the week. Now we started with a big one, Dortmund against Newcastle. Newcastle at a point were looking like they were firing like all cylinders in the group. But, you know, back-to-back against Dortmund, they've lost it.
Yeah, experience came to play. You know, there are some stages whereby you need boys to rise and become men. What the Newcastle team failed to do is to become men in that match. It's not about defeating a PSG that has been shaky. What about a team that understands what it means to play in the Champions League? And they are one leg out of the Champions League already. They just need to wake up, learn from their mistakes, and try to see if they can defeat PSG at the Parc des Princes.
It's a big game. It's a big game.
Not just big, it's a banana peel.
Looking at PSG, don't you think they'll be coming into that game on a revenge mission against Newcastle? 4-1 dropped in the first game, and coming into the second game, I know PSG has a score to settle against Newcastle.
Yes, they have a score to settle, and you have to look at it. Kylian Mbappe is one player that we know from his role model that they don't take those kinds of games lightly. If he's not doing well in the league, he wants to show himself in the Champions League. Despite the fact Mbappe has been playing like a player that is divided at heart, like his mind is not really at PSG anymore. But apart from that, when Mbappe wants to come to the party, he can really hurt teams and hurt them out. We saw what he did to Argentina in the final of the World Cup. So he is one key player that will be decisive for PSG. But I think Newcastle is halfway out already.
Okay, talking about the group that had Dortmund and Newcastle, it was labeled as group of death, and that group is living up to its billings as the group of death. As AC Milan got a famous victory against PSG 2-1, it ended that day. And one player that has been gaining a lot of momentum and praises is Robin Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, fantastic player. But the issue I have with him is just he romances the ball too much. As a midfielder, when you do that a lot, you keep getting injured because you'll be receiving tackles. Look at Modric. How many times does he go out injured? When he collects the pass, he sees his player. You know, it's as simple as you can play a 1-2 with 4 players and create space to set a pass. You don't really need to run. So Loftus-Cheek needs to know how to use his 2 touches, 1 touches, 3 touches. You don't need to romance the ball. Push it. And the funniest part is when he was at Chelsea, you know you want to set the pass to me, you bring the ball closer to me, you make the defender see what you want to do with the ball, even before the execution of the plan. And that's one thing I complain about Loftus-Cheek. He needs to understand that he's a midfielder. You don't romance the ball too much.
Okay, it's all going to go down to the wire in the group that has Dortmund, Newcastle, PSG, and AC Milan, and that group is living up to its billing as the group of death. Another shocker in the UEFA Champions League match, the 4, is the game between Shakhtar Donetsk and Barcelona, with Shakhtar Donetsk defeating the Catalans 1-0. And we saw that game in the studio, and it was an explosive game.
It was a cracker.
It was a cracker.
Honestly, many bookies will be lamenting. Like all the Manchester United fans are lamenting right now. So, because when you see the way Xhaka approached that game, you will see that they really wanted to win. And when they got that single goal, they defended with their lives.
And that goal came in the first half.
Yes.
And they defended for over 50 minutes in that encounter.
And they did it very well.
Yeah, they did that very well. And another shocker in the UEFA Champions League is FC Copenhagen staging a comeback against Manchester United, and they defeated Manchester United 4-3. We saw the reverse fixture, and we'll likely say, I can say that Manchester United were lucky to get a victory in the reverse fixture, but they were not 2 times lucky this time around, as they lost to FC Copenhagen in Germany in Denmark 4-3.
The issue that I see with Man is they need a structural approach to their game. Let's know the pattern Man is playing. It is now, but look at Guardiola is very good, but not all players can play his pattern. He knew that the first season he got to Man City, he didn't win anything until He started bringing the players that can play his pattern. So when you have a pattern, then the pattern will give birth to the kind of players you will buy. And that's the issue of Manchester United. That's why you saw them last season. Casemiro can come, Casemiro come. You know, you don't transact like that. You will end up now they've spent over 400 million for when since Ten Hag took over, and there's no solid result. And they have talent, but when there's no direction, no structure, you will just be like a water that is rounding on one spot. Today you win, tomorrow you don't. Today you play well, tomorrow you don't play well, because you don't have a direction.
Okay, talking about Manchester United, in 4 games, this group was meant to be, a group that Manchester United should have find it easy. Probably Bayern Munich might have actually been the hardest team for them in the group. But looking at the group that has Copenhagen, Bayern Munich, and Galatasaray, and Manchester United are still struggling in this group. They've conceded 11 goals in just 4 games.
Yeah, very, very predictable. When you see the way Manchester United started this season, you will see that they will be really shaky this season. And I think Ten Hag needs to unite that team. That team is divided. I can tell you for free that some players, with what I've seen, some players are not giving him the 100%. We know what Varane can bring to the table. Varane is not playing at the best. It's just Maguire that I think is...
He has actually been the best player, talking about Maguire. He has been the best player of late.
Yes, because he needs to do so many convincing. Because last season was not a reputable one for his career. So he needed it, and he's trying to prove critics wrong. And you just have to appreciate his mentality. He has a strong mentality. Many players would have left without opening from West Ham, but he chose to stay and fight for his place, and he's doing a good job.
Okay, talking about fighting for a place, and Atletico Madrid have defeated Celtic 6-0 in the UEFA Champions League, and defending champions Bayern, Manchester City defeated Young Boys 3-0. They took them to the cleanser, and that game ended 3-0. Napoli couldn't get a victory against Union Berlin. That game ended 1-1. Real Sociedad with 3-1 victor over Benfica. Bayern Munich defeated Galatasaray 2-1, while Arsenal defeated Sevilla 2-0. Those are amongst the results we got in the match day 4 of the UEFA Champions League. Let's go straight to the EPL fixtures this weekend. We have the big one, Manchester City against Chelsea on Sunday.
Yeah, a big one. Looking at what happened on Monday, we all will have learned that football is truly unpredictable. Sometimes, there was a day somebody said, analysis and all that. I said, analysis don't play football. We can only talk about the fact and the figures, the statistics that we see, the stats that we see. But sometimes reality can dawn on us, and we start seeing another thing start revolving in the world of football. So, I think this weekend, Man City will be, it's something that is realistic. But Chelsea can also come to the party, and we know Chelsea to be one team with history that we know. Chelsea can surprise you.
Okay, early kickoff is the game between Wolves and Tottenham tomorrow. Tottenham are without a lot of players now. Romero has injured. Romero has a red card, so he'll be out for 3 matches. Yeah. They will be without their first left back. Talking about Udogie. There's no Madison in the starting 11. He's out injured. January. And Van der Ven also out injured. So lots of injuries for Tottenham. And we saw the momentum they started this season with. What are their chances of getting a victory against Wolves?
Very slim. Because Wolves now has made their home their fortress. And it's one of those teams that they are very difficult to beat at home. Very, very difficult. Newcastle went there and struggled. Man City went there, lost. So it's one away ground that can be a banana peel. So when we thought finally Tottenham might just win the EPL and everything is looking like it's coming. I remember you saying something about having a small squad. And talking about Tottenham, they have a small squad. And do you think that is what is eating them up right now? Of course, it's
still early. We are just in the week 11.
When you talk about fatigue, it's not just the length of the season. It's about how many matches you are playing. Now, you have a first team that you have played them mostly together for the first 11 games. No rotation. Sometimes when you play 3-4 matches, your body will react. It's not about, oh, you are being paid or you are training every day. Sometimes you need to rotate it. If you don't rotate it, look at it now, Madison. When you see them, most of it is hamstring. They will hold their laps, hold their muscles. Look at Madison, look at Van de Ven. That means they've been stretched. And that's due to too many matches. And they need to work on that. January, they need to strengthen.
Okay, another team that will be so hungry to get back to winning ways is Manchester United. They'll be at Old Trafford where they host Luton Town this weekend. It should be an easy ride for Manchester United.
Yeah, it should be. When it comes to Man U, it should be. You can't say it will be. Because
it should be an easy ride for them.
They know how to give people unpleasant surprises. Look at Copenhagen. Even if you go one man down, you are leading 2-0. 2-0 is LD. You can just choose to defend all through the game. And look at the Luton they are about to play with. Just surprised Liverpool last week. Almost defeated Liverpool, if not for the Diaz 9-minute equalizer. So it will be a true test for Ten Hag. If he loses these 3 points, it might not last until the end of this month.
And Arsenal fancy their chance against Burnley this weekend. It should be an easy 3 point for us.
Yeah,
an easy 3 points, sorry, for us.
Yeah, Burnley is on bonanza level. They've been giving people 3 points at way. I just hope that company can stay long on that job.
Yeah, that is one thing we all hope he can just keep on to that work. Talking about the La Liga, that's the Spanish La Liga, where we have the big one this weekend, is the game between Atletico Madrid and Villarreal.
Yeah.
It should be an easy one because Atletico Madrid are just in a scoring form these days.
Yeah, fantastic. Atletico Madrid, you know, when we talk, and the news coming out today was that the Cholo, the nickname for the coach of
Diego Simeone,
Cholo has extended his contract to 2027. And I think he's one of the highest paid coaches in Europe, if not the highest paid. And he took that club in 2011, and he took them to a height where they might not have dreamed they would be. And the reward for excellence is a good thing all the time. So he has done a good job. He deserves the name for it.
Okay, Real Madrid will be at home against Valencia, while Barcelona will also be at home against Alvarez this weekend. These are the 3 big matches in the La Liga this weekend. I'm talking about Real Madrid against Valencia. It should be an easy ride for Real Madrid also.
Yeah, it should be, but we saw them play 0-0 draw against Rayo Vallecano last weekend, which was a terrible result at home at the Santiago Bernabeu. So I think against Valencia, it has always been a tough opponent. So, and I think this time it will be different because Valencia is on a resurrection mission. And let's see if they can actually cope. Maybe they will do something better. Only time will tell. But I think they should be winning that game.
Okay, that game should be an easy one for Real Madrid against Valencia. And straight to the Serie A, where we have Lecce against AC Milan. AC Milan are currently in a big form this season.
Yeah, big form, but they are now dropping from lost at home to Udinese last weekend 1-0. And it seems the injury worries now is beginning to bite hard. With Chukwueze is out injured and some other players too. So I think Milan, they need to dig deep. At least the win against PSG should spur them on. But Lecce is a very difficult team to play away at. It's very difficult ground. We saw Atalanta couldn't get the win. In fact, they had to rally back into that game. This is earlier in the season. So Lecce is a difficult team to play at home, and they just have to start raking the point if they want to contend with Inter, because Inter is beginning to run away with the league.
Okay, the biggest one tonight, the biggest one this weekend in the Serie A is the one between Lazio and AS Roma. Also Mourinho against Sarri.
Yeah, the Roma derby, the Rome derby.
Rome derby.
Always mind-blowing. The fans, the charade, and the city, an historic city in Italy. And you just want to enjoy the game, not just about the talent on play, the passion, the emotion behind it. You will see a filled stadium on that day, and we just want to enjoy it. But I think Mourinho might have won over
And talking about Lukaku, he's in a big form, so I fancy
form.
Mourinho taking
He
that game.
lost the penalty last
But
weekend
he
and
scored
also scored
the
the winning goal. So it's one thing about Lukaku. You can't say the one that will show up. So let's also hope that the Lukaku that shows up is the one Mourinho would like to talk about.
Okay, the table toppers, Inter Milan will be at home against Fiorentina this weekend. There's a weekend full of football around the world, not just Europe, but everywhere around the world. It's a weekend full of football. And straight away from that, let's talk about one issue that's been, having a lot of controversies around it. It's Raheem Sterling who might be facing ban for missile throwing.
Yeah.
There was an object being thrown onto the pitch from the fans, by the fans. And when just were celebrating, he took that object back and threw it back to the fans. But don't you think the FA are the one aiding these fans right now?
You know that it's just like in business. Customers are always right. The fans are the customers. The players, they are the business, they are the professionals. So you just have to take those kinds of things. You take it to yourself.
So do you think if Raheem Sterling is being fined and given match bans, it's something he actually deserves?
It's just, sometimes injustice is not about being fair. It's about the rules and regulations governing it. And I think the news that came out this evening is like he just escaped the ban.
Okay.
But
fine.
English FA can be very funny. So
wow.
Let's just see how it all pans out.
Okay, and lastly, we have a former world #1 Naomi Osaka who will be returning to tennis at the Brisbane International almost 6 months after giving birth. The Japanese four-time Grand Slam winner announced the pregnancy in January and had a daughter, Shai, in July. It's good to see Naomi Osaka back in the courts.
Yeah, really good, really good.
I don't really know what you're saying.
So, okay, we miss the way she plays the game, the way she, the entertaining side of her. We miss the charade, all the news surrounding Naomi Osaka and all. And Naomi Osaka is one of those faces that can sell the tennis game. And we were just happy that she's back.
I can't just wait to see her play on the court again.
It seems you're questioning.
No, it's not bad. Apart from questioning, she's actually one long tennis player I actually look up to. Okay, straight to the game. Straight away from that, let's talk about one that has been making the rounds in the news. It's about Kylian Mbappe. And speculations are that Real Madrid said they are not buying or they are not getting Mbappe come end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's just a story to let off all the attention that is on that. They might not go for him, they might, but at least with that statement, it will cool all the noise, all the rumors around it. You can even see that even the PSG president is not convinced. So the business can still happen. Let's just say, it's just that I think Madrid is looking for a way to spend as less as possible. They don't want to cough out too much, and I understand due to financial fair play.
What about any chance of him coming to the EPL? There's Chelsea, they have all the money, they can spend it. There's Manchester United, there's Liverpool, there's Manchester City. These are clubs that can, put out the money and get on Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, first, Kylian Mbappe wants to win the Champions League. So, any club that has the prospect. And for now, Chelsea is not part of those clubs. So, Chelsea is
So, you don't see him joining your Chelsea?
Yeah, and I don't see him joining us.
Wow. What about Liverpool and
but I think it will be
Manchester
between
United?
Liverpool and Manchester City, not United.
Is there any chance of Manchester City signing, looking at how choked the wing is, that's Manchester City?
That would leave Liverpool, but there was a place where someone quoted him as saying that he would love to play for Arsenal. Even though Arsenal has not won the Champions League, and he wants to win the Champions League, well, we just hope that he gets the desired move he craves.
Okay. January transfer window will actually be a big one, and don't forget we also have the Nations Cup coming up in January, and it's going to be a lot of actions, packed action when we return in January for.
Yeah, it will be actions back to back. But one thing I just want to lend my voice to is we should start thinking of playing the Nations Cup in the summer, because it's not a good thing when clubs are losing talented players to Nations Cup in the middle of the season. It can define your season negatively, and that begs the question why you see some big clubs they don't want to make their talisman an African player. And rightfully so, because
looking at Chelsea, Chelsea also be without Jackson come January.
And thank God it's Jackson.
Napoli will be without Osimhen come January.
Yeah.
Not just Osimhen. They have a midfielder, Aguiza, who also be out playing for Cameroon. So a lot of players.
And people keep blaming the Napoli president, saying that after that he's not thinking of recruiting more African players. You just have to look at Osimhen came for international break, went back. No, that happens.
6 weeks injury.
But look at the last season Champions League. It was also Nigeria he came to play for. And we need to improve on all these things. These are the loopholes, as one of some of the few things affecting the game in Nigeria. We just need to do better, honestly. And these things are not far-fetched. There's things we can sit down and plan towards. I think we should have a rethink and do things.
Okay, we have to have a rethink. And talking about rethinking, well, there's not really much time tonight.
Yeah, there's not much time.
But it's always a pleasure having you in the studio.
It's always fun. You know, it's like a gist.
That is it. That's what he gets on Talk Sports on Premier Sport Fan Center. And that's about how much you can take tonight on Talk Sports. Join us tomorrow for our EPL coverage, and not just EPL, football coverages around the world. We'll be in the studio tomorrow to give you live commentaries and analysis of matches around the world. So you can join us when we are live on the program tomorrow. That's about how much you can take tonight. It's bye for now from me and my production crew.
Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sport Center. Anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe.